I did train occasionally with them when they were preparing for games, and I'd join in. And Ron Saunders, who was the manager at the time, he'd asked me to come over and train with these great players who I admired and who I was watching on Match of the Day, the weeks before. So that was really fantastic as well. And that year they won the league out of underdogs as well. So it was really unexpected. Won the league, and although I didn't play that year, that was a fantastic introduction to professional football, because I was mixing with these players and seeing how their attitude was. And people like Kenny Swain, who is a fantastic pro, used to tell me I needed to, beef up a bit. I was very skinny, and give me abdominal exercises to do, and all these pros and people with it telling me what to eat and things like that. Although it wasn't as sophisticated as it is now, I think what we did then was just, instead of eating basically rubbish, I think you just told me to eat brown bread, which was a fantastic step forward at the time,
Sports science. Who was your heroes then? 16 years of age in that Villa team, or in football as a whole? Who was your heroes?
Yeah, well, the team itself, we had some great players, but a couple of years before that, they had players like Brian Little in the team, and he was my favourite player. Yeah, and he was my favourite player, Brian Little, but he was just coming to end his career due to injury, actually, so he hadn't played for a year or two. So, but what made me stand out is because when I used to go up for training at school holidays, he's a really approachable person, and he used to speak to me. He heard that I was, obviously one of the better young players at the club, and he had a quick chat with him and explained that he couldn't play much due to his knee keeps swelling up, and that always remember that, and he became one of my favourite players before that anyway. But I love the way that he spoke to me and encouraged me to get my head down, and hopefully I might get a contract from the club. But he played up front with a guy called Keith Leonard, who became my youth manager. So those kind of players I liked, I enjoyed watching. Obviously, the first team was doing well, so Gary Shaw, Peter Witt, Tony Morley were fantastic players at the time.
Great player, Tony Morley, great player to watch, mate.
Absolutely, yeah. So those are the kind of players I liked and admired, and wanted to emulate when hopefully I was going to become a professional. Yeah.
Yeah, and Peter Witt, some centre forward there.
Yeah, it was a no nonsense centre forward. Worked extremely hard. I always remember sitting on the bench as a 16-year-old, and Ron Saunders used to say to me, watch this man run around and how hard he works. And I think he's probably telling me because I don't work hard. I don't know if he's trying to tell me something, but he used to say, watch this man how hard he works. And it's funny because I became good friends with Gary Shaw, and Gary Shaw was his partner that day, and he says, and look how lazy that player is, and so I always wanted to Gary about that. But he was just a fantastic role model for all the young players, because he worked so hard and he never gave up. He was a very, very determined player.
You broke into the Villa team. You first get your debut at 17 years of age, mate. That's early. Were you or did you grasp it?
No, I was in all the players. You got to remember, as I said, weeks before, I'd been watching them on Match of the Day and things like that, and training. And I was lucky enough to train with them a few times, and I played in reserves quite a lot. So I was mixing with them, but I was still admiring how professional they were, and it wasn't a job; it was a vocation. They prepared properly, ate properly, and also. So it was just fantastic to be involved. And then, even the night I only lived about 1 kilometre away from the ground, so I walked to the ground that day, and was told that I was actually on the bench sub. So that was scary as in itself, with the full house. We were playing Leeds United at the time, who had some great players as well. And I was an admirer of Barnes, Eddie Gray, and all those kind of players who were playing for Leeds at the time. So yeah, I was in awe a little bit, and I came on and I ran around. I don't think I touched the ball much, but it was a great experience. And I remember it like it was yesterday, because as I said, it was one of those things as a child. You have ambitions to play for your local team, play for England, playing cup finals. And I was lucky enough to tick off one of them at 17, which was play for my local team. So, yeah, it was a great, great time for me.
When you say your local team, to be fair, Aston Villa, they're not just any team. I mean, they're one of the driving forces of English football. Obviously, they're in the Championship just now, but we're still better because we reckon that the Rangers support, they robbed us for that semi-final of the FA Cup in 1873, mate. But we'll let that one go.
Yeah, even I weren't around then.
So we move on, and the next season you started playing regular, you started scoring goals, you started playing in the FA Cup. You were 18 years of age and you became a regular in the Villa first team. You're living every boy's dream, mate.
Yeah, it was. It was literally, living the dream. It was because, as I said, not being at the club very long as a professional and being in and around the first team players, the crowd, some full houses. I mean, that year the Super Cup was, and playing it in a game against Barcelona, going over to the new camp, and Maradona was at the club at the time. Luckily for us, he was injured, so he didn't play that against us. So we got a good result over there, and then back at Villa Park, we I think we could have been a couple of down as well, but we ended up winning the game after extra time, and it was just a fantastic roller coaster for me. As I say, first year the club winning the league, second year winning the Champions League as it is now, and then the third year winning the Super Cup. So there's me, as a young pro thinking, this is easy. What's all the fuss about? You know what I mean? It's like school football, But obviously, as I later knew that football wasn't as cozy and as smooth as that,
So obviously, Villa, they were pretty consistent after that, but obviously ultimately they ended up quite quickly, which we wouldn't have believed a few years after it. Relegation, absolutely. And you were a mainstay of the team, but it looked for an outsider looking in at the time. They were always changing their manager. Yeah. I think that was part of the reason there was no consistency.
Oh, without doubt. Maybe some of the managers weren't there for the right reasons as well, but there were, a couple were untried as well, and mainly the problem in my eyes was that the club ambitions weren't the same as it was before. They were now getting rid of the players, all of these mainstays that won the European Cup for them. They were dismantling the team, and although I was part of the youth team that won the Youth Cup, which is the biggest competition in England for young players, so we had some great potential in the team. We were too young. We were too young to sustain that kind of level of winning the league or competing for the league. So although we had some great young players, we just weren't enough experienced players to balance that out. And as you say, we dropped down dropped down the table a lot, and he ultimately got relegated, which was devastating for the club and devastating for people like me who were still ambitious and wanted to achieve things. So as I realised that the club's ambitions didn't match mine, I knew it was time to leave as myself. And the final reason why I decided was because I remember Dennis Morton, who was captain of the Champions League team only 4 years before. He'd been there for 9.5 years and didn't get a testimonial, which at the time, with not as much money around as there is now, at the time was one of the reasons why, as a player, you would stay at the club, because that would be one of the bonuses of staying at a club and being loyal, is the fact that you could get a testimonial. And he was there 9.5 years, so 6 months short of his 10th year, which is when he was liable for a testimonial, he got released. So I thought if they could do that to the captain of, one of the biggest competitions they've ever won, they could do that to little old me from Aston, you know what I mean? So I made sure that if their ambitions didn't match mine, I would try and leave, yeah.
So the Christmas of 1987, there's a lot of talk in the press.
Yeah.
The two clubs that are linked with you strongly were Everton, who were, them and Liverpool were the force in English football at that particular time. Absolutely. And Rangers. Run us through how you ended up. Did you ever think you would come to Scotland? Was it the Graham Souness factor? What happened and how did it come about?
Yeah, well, I'd spoken to, I think, Harry Bassett's team. I can't remember. I couldn't be Watford or Luton. I can't remember now. It's that long ago. And I went to speak to them, and someone said to me, "Mark, I think you shouldn't go there. I think you're better than that." And although no due respect to Watford, I think they were Watford at the time, great club there as they are. They just said to me, "You think you can do better? That you can get a big club." And so I waited and waited a few months, and as you say, come Christmas time, Everton came in for me. So the club agreed a fee with them, and but on the night before I was supposed to go and speak to Everton, the phone rang, and I have some practical jokers friends, as it were, and someone came on the phone with a Scottish accent, and I'm thinking it's one of my mates taking a mickey a bit, you know what I mean? But it was Graham Souness, so I said, "Come on, stop taking the mickey, John." I think John was the one who'd done all the voiceovers and the characters. And I said, "No, stop." He said, "No, it's Graham Souness. I know you're going to speak to Everton tomorrow, but would you do us the courtesy of just coming to speak to us after? I know." There's no European football in England at the moment as well, and there's other little bits and pieces that I'm sure you'll love in Scotland. So I said, yeah, I will do. And my agent and I explained it to my agent. So he said, after we speak to Everton, we'll go up to Scotland and to Glasgow and have a speak to Graham Souness, who I admired as a player anyway. And I knew about what was going on up there. A lot of big English players had gone up there. Chris Woods, Terry Butcher, etc., had gone up there and were causing havoc with how much progress they'd made and telling good things about Glasgow Rangers and stuff. So I knew a little bit about. And also, David Cooper was one of my favourite players as well.
All right, okay.
Scotland. And, I always remember watching the goal he scored against Celtic, where he knocked the ball over about 3 people's heads. And,
Drybrough Cup final, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So I knew a little bit about Scottish football, but not a lot, if I'm really honest. So I had to speak to Everton, who were fantastic, and Colin Harvey, the manager, sold the club to me. But admittedly, they were out of European football, which, as you know, I started basically at Villa, going through all that, playing against Juventus in the quarterfinals, playing against Michel Platini and all these kind of players, which really thrilled me at the time. So I thought, no, let me go and speak to Graham and see what he's got to say. And after I spoke to Everton, flew up to Glasgow, and I think it was Walter met me at the airport, came in and drove me to the stadium. And as soon as he drove me to the stadium, because I'd never been there before, opened the marble halls there, or the staircase, and I saw it, and I was like, wow, what an amazing club. No one has ever... I've never seen anything like this in England, as it were, you know what I mean? Although it was similar to Aston Villa's, but it was different with the marble staircases and that. So that impressed me. Came up there. Graham sold the cup to me. After he spoke to me, he opened the shutters and let me go into the stadium and put the lights on. Actually, put the old lights on. Although the stadium was empty, put the lights on for me, and I could see the old stadium. And literally, that was it. I was sold on that, and it was a fantastic atmosphere, even though the place was empty. And I was smitten already. So yeah, I said that's where I'd love to play football, and the rest is history, as it were. Yeah, signed the next day.
Yeah, well, there was no transfer window then. You could sign whenever you liked if somebody made an offer. I think we signed in New Year's Eve, 1987, yeah?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, I was on a week-to-week contract as well. So although the Bosman ruling hadn't come in yet, as long as the clubs agreed a fee, I could leave. And it was a fantastic offer anyway, as in the European football. I was going to play with Ray Wilkins, Terry Butcher, Trevor Francis was there, who was an amazing player for Birmingham City, my local area. So all these things I knew already. I thought, yeah, I'm going to definitely give this a go, yeah. And I was obviously glad I did.
Signed on the 31st of December, made your debut in a game that's became infamous in Scottish football.
Yeah.
You ran out at Celtic Park. We obviously lost the game 2-0. I take it your memories are bittersweet of that day.
Yeah, definitely. It was quite. The thing about football I miss the most is the banter and the camaraderie we have in professional football, and in most dressing rooms are like that. Even the teams aren't doing particularly well. There's always a few characters in there. And I remember going to the game, and one of the lads showed me a paper with some lad had bought a load of fruit and stuff, and he was proudly posing next to the barrel of fruit and everything, telling everybody what he's going to do to me and throw all the fruit at me, you know what I mean? So the lads, as they were, took the mickey and said, oh, yeah, you better make sure you get his name and that you can maybe use it for some shopping during the week, you know what I mean, and things like that. So we all laughed it off, but little did I know the amount of objects that were going to be thrown at me during the game. And I was nervous anyway. Even before the game started, I was a little bit sick in the toilet. didn't say anything to anybody. Was sick. I think just nervous tension. Sorted myself out, got back out, and was ready to play. And obviously, it didn't go well. We lost 2-0, but I was so pleased just to be there. The atmosphere was electric. Yes, they were.
Was it different for anything you'd ever experienced? Because you played in big games before.
Yeah, I played in big games. But this atmosphere was just unique. I mean, I spoke to a lot of people about it. Ray Wilkins. I remember asking Ray Wilkins, what a Milan derby, is it similar to this? He said, Mark, I played in Manchester derbies, the Milan derbies. I've played in the London derbies, and there's nothing can compare to the atmosphere at that time. It was, you could be 1 metre from somebody, you couldn't hear him speak. But particularly the first 20 minutes when it was chaotic and hectic, it was just frantic football going on. You know what I mean? So it's a unique fixture, and as I said, I've not heard anybody say that there's a better atmosphere, if you like, than the Rangers derby game, the Old Firm game, I should say.
So, as I say, bittersweet game, and obviously it's infamous, the antics of some of the fans.
Yeah.
Can you remember the Rangers team that day?
Vaguely, yeah. I think sure Terry Butcher played.
Yeah.
Ray Wilkins definitely played.
Not Terry Butcher never played.
Oh no, he broke his leg. You're right.
He broke his leg in November.
He was in the changing rooms. You're right. Actually, But to be fair, if Terry was playing or not, you wouldn't know because he'd be just the same in the changing room, geeing everybody up and getting everybody going. Right. But you're right. Yeah. Chris Woods definitely played. Yep. Stuart Monroe.
Yeah.
Played. Yeah.
Your partner for a few years.
Yeah. Yeah. It was excellent to play alongside. I think Durante played. Ian Durant played.
Yep. I'll give you the team. Chris Woods, Scott Nisbet, Stuart Monroe, Graham Roberts, Ray Wilkins, Richard Gough, Mark Walters, Graham Souness, himself played, Alan McCoy, Steve Durant and Davy Cooper. Subs, Trevor Francis and John McGregor.
Really?
And when I look at the stats for that game, Rangers never get one yellow card and get beat 2-0, which must be a first in all 5 games.
Oh, without a doubt, I can't believe that. Cause, someone was tackling them, but it obviously wasn't us. There was some fierce tackles going on. I remember that, the amount of tackles that were going on. But obviously, the hometown team's going to get the 50-50 decisions. But if you'd have told me that no one got booked that day, or one in our team got booked, I would have been very surprised. Yeah, that's an unbelievable statistic.
Not even the manager.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he would have got booked in the changing room after, because I remember he weren't too happy. That's for sure. You know, so. Yeah, that is an unbelievable statistic. I'll have to bring that in a quiz when I go back up there this weekend.
So you've started obviously, and then did you say that you knew a bit about Scottish football? Did you realise the city? Did you realise how big Glasgow Rangers were?
No, absolutely not. I didn't. I saw a bit on a European match when they played. I think it was Dynamo Kiev, where Graham Souness got the pitch brought in. I think he let him train on it the day before, and then the day of the game he brought the pitch in, which is now illegal from what I've been told. You can't do that anymore, but that's what he did that day. And I always remember watching that game, and the atmosphere was unbelievable. I always remember watching this game. I think it was on my own in the house watching it, and I just remember the crowd and the lads. How fierce tackles were going, and I just remember thinking, what an amazing atmosphere there is. And it was in Europe as well, which was obviously one of the things that most professionals would love to play. So I didn't know the history, if you like, and how loyal the fans were and things like that, and just little bits and pieces like that, which I'll give you an example. When I was at Aston Villa, we asked to be basically 3 or 4-0 up for the old stadium to start singing and getting behind the players, if you like. Whereas win, lose or draw, the crowd sang the same intensity, the same ferocity as they would whether losing or winning, which was fantastic. As a player, you just if you know that the crowd are going to be behind you, win, lose or draw, it's a big boost, and it's like playing with a 12th man, if you like. You know what I mean? So some of these things you really appreciate as a player. So that was amazing as a player to see that and to witness it. Yeah.
To feel that, obviously that season was a mixed season. I would say that Graham's team was in transition. He was breaking up his first team, and the team was evolving. So ultimately, we ended up we'd won the League Cup that season just before you came, but we never challenged much in the league, and we never progressed too much in Europe. So that season sort of petered out.
Yeah.
And then the 1988-89 season started. And there's one game at the start of that season sticks out in the mind. We actually went 1-0 down,
Yeah.
And we went on to win 5-1. There hadn't been a result like that between Rangers and Celtic for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Memories of that game, mate?
Yeah, it was, as you say, we went 1 down at the time, and, the crowd went silent, and, confidence in football is very important, and it knocked our confidence a bit, because I thought we started reasonably well, but obviously they got the first goal. But once we equalised, it was really, it was a beautiful day as well, but once we equalised, it was really, really plain sailing after that. We played some good football, created a lot of chances. And if there's only one thing that I regret about the game is we didn't push forward more, because it could have been 8-9-1, never mind 5 that it ended up to, because we really played well that day. The lads played with a lot of progression and really looked good. So it was a great day. Obviously, scoring as well was fantastic, and being involved in a couple of goals as well was brilliant. So it was just a great day all round, and one that sticks in my memory.
Rangers team that day was Chris Woods, Gary Stevens, John Brown, Richard Gough, Ray Wilkins, Terry Butcher, Kevin Drinkle, Ian Ferguson, Alan McCoy, Dean Durant and Mark Walters.
Yeah.
And the 2 substitutes we brought on, Davy Cooper and Graham Souness. Now, some of the fans have said since then that when we brought them on, it stopped the momentum with the team, and they started just strolling the game instead of going for goals that we wanted.
Yeah. Obviously, being a manager and that, he just wants the results, and I think that was what it was. Instead of him, as you say, being more progressive and going through the jugular, as it were, 5-1 he was happy with, because I've seen it before. Teams being 2-3 up, never 5, admittedly, but 2-3 up and losing the game, believe it or not, or drawing it. So being a consummate professional, obviously, I think the manager just calmed the things down, makes us keep the ball more, let them chase around, and as you say, kept it down to 5-1. But on another day, it could have been at least 7-8 easy. We were that good that day.
I think you were involved in the 3 goals in the second half, mate. My own particular favourite, obviously, Butch Wilkins scored a cracker, but Kevin Drinkle's header for your cross that day was a brilliant goal.
Yeah.
You done your famous shimmy out in the wing, crossed it in, and Drinkle put it in. Underrated player, Kevin Drinkle.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. We used to call him Panda. Actually, it was funny because he used to smoke a lot, and he had these like dark rings behind his eyes. And I don't know if they'd get away with it now, but half time, we'd be coming in for a team talk, and he'd be in the toilet having a cigarette, So, but he was a great character, and as you say, an underrated player who scored goals and made life very difficult for defenders. Always worked hard as well. So yes, without doubt, an underrated player, but a good player, absolutely.
And who became your friends off the pitch in that team, mate? Who were guys?
When I first came up, I was on my own. My girlfriend, who then became who's now my ex-wife, I should say, but became my wife later on. I was there up there in Glasgow for about 6 months on my own. So the gaffer told Derek Ferguson and Ian Durant, who were near enough my age, to look after me. But that was, in the end, I think I looked after them. It's one of them, when I used to go back to Birmingham, I used to come back late. Say we would train on a Sunday, and so maybe go back to Birmingham for the evening or something like that. And I always knew there'd be a party at Ian Durant's house, so I'd get there about 2:00 in the morning, and there'd be women running around the car park and all sorts going on, you know what I mean? So the fact that he was supposed to look after me, I think I ended up looking after them too, you know what I mean? But they were great characters, and they definitely helped me settle into Glasgow. And I'm eternally grateful for that, because, it's the first time I was away from home, and if I needed to, go out for a quiet drink, which was virtually impossible with them too, but if I needed to go out anyway and have a relax, they'd give me a call and I'd go out with them. And I made some other friends as well, obviously being up there as well. So it's just a great little squad of lads who we did virtually everything together. Great camaraderie. we virtually go everywhere together, meals and stuff like that with girlfriends and stuff. So it was just a great place to be, and settled in very, very easily, and great. It was good at the time, but excellent.
No long after that game, obviously you had a taste of some European football that season, with Katowice and Cologne, which obviously ultimately we lost against Cologne. But the League Cup final that year, was that your first major final you played in?
Yeah, I suppose Aston Villa Super Cup.
That counts, mate. That counts, the Super Cup, yeah.
Yeah, so it was only the second one, and I was in my early 20s as well. So I'd waited a long time for that, and I always remember the day of the game. Very nervous, and really anticipating what might happen, and hoping that we'd win, and that you'd do yourself justice as well. So yeah, it was a great occasion, and to win it was again another little tick, because as I said, when you first start playing as a pro, you want to win cups, you want to win leagues and all these things, and the fact that I've ticked another box off was fantastic, because the worst case scenario for me would have been going through my career and not winning anything, and as I said, winning things was always the most important thing for me, not a case of other things or money or anything. I just wanted to win things and things I could show my children and my grandchildren. You know what I mean? So that was really important to me. So to win that was a great highlight for me. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously we went on again, and then games that are always important to us as Rangers supporters is Old Firm games. They're the one that sticks out. Again, you had another great performance in just a year after you joined the club, at the New Year's Day game.
Yeah.
Where you managed to score 2 goals.
Yeah, was that the 4-1 game?
Yeah, the 4-1 game, yeah.
Yeah, it was... I think, did I score a penalty? I think the penalty one was... Because that morning I was with Jim Bell, the kit man at the time. He was still at the club.
Still is.
Still at the club, yeah. And he was talking about celebrations and how you should celebrate and that. And he said to me, Mark, if you want, because I knew I was going to come again. Obviously, that got a bit of stick from them in the past. And he said, Mark, what you want to do is if you score today, just get your badge and just kiss it, and that'll really wind them up. And it for some reason stuck in my mind as well. So played and got the penalty, and it was at their end as well. And obviously they're trying to put me off as you would expect. Luckily kept my calm and hit the target, which is a must when you take the penalty. It's all right missing or whatever, but if you miss the target, then no forgiveness in my book. So I hit the target. Unfortunately, went in the goal, and just come to mind what Jimmy said to me earlier that day, and I kissed the badge, and that really did upset them for some reason. So it was great.
Never upset me, mate. Never upset me.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what that was for. Yeah. So it was fantastic, and obviously that settled us down, and we went on to win comfortably again in the end. Yeah.
Again, that was an equaliser, I think, to make it one each. I think they'd win 1-0 again, and then your goal was an equaliser, and then we got another. Big Terry equalised, then your goal put us 2-1 in front.
Okay.
Ian Ferguson scored, and then you scored a lovely goal. I can still see it now when you've run through, put it in the back of the net, and you've run behind the goal and slapped hands with the whole of the Cotland Road people at the front.
Yeah.
Brilliant goal, great memories, mate.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, for some reason we used to go behind quite often, but as I say, we all always stuck together, always kept calm and played our football, especially when things calmed down. As I say, the first 20 minutes back in those days, the game was hectic. You could have run on with a caution, smashed people over the head, and no one would have noticed the difference. You know what I mean? It was just tackles flying everywhere. And as I say, once we settled down, we generally used to get on top whatever the result was.
I looked at that today, and the team, obviously there's a lot of the regulars in it, but the one that surprised me, the fact that Nicky Walker was in goal. You forget that you always thought that Chris Woods was in goal, but Chris must have been injured.
Yeah, I think he had a balance problem in his ear. I always remember him missing a few games because he had some, I think it was a problem in his ears, and he kept losing balance or something like that. If I remember correctly. So that must have been the period of time when Nicky took over, but Chris was a fantastic goalie and very, very, very good for us. Saved us a lot of points.
we talked about Stuart Monroe, and obviously you played on his side of the pitch. Was he an unsung hero in that team?
Oh, without a doubt. He used to back me up and, make a lot of runs, inside runs, and always give me a space so that to leave me one-on-one. So he always knew when to overlap when I'm struggling a little bit. He'd overlap and I'd play him in or he's a good defender as well. And, without doubt, very underrated. And him and I became good friends off the pitch as well, particularly when my ex-wife moved up to Glasgow. And we used to go out together as a family, as it were, So, became a good friends, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well.
All right, so that season progressed. We're getting the title back, and it became a famous title for us because it was the first in 9 in a row.
Yeah.
And we clinched the title against Hearts. We beat them 4-0. Mel Sterling, who was at the club for about 2 weeks, mate, came in.
Yeah.
He scored a couple, and Kevin Drinkle scored a couple. But you were heavily involved that day in the first League Cup Championship medal. Memories, mate?
Yeah, funny enough, as you mentioned, Mel Sterling, I always remember an incident he had with Grant where I think we was trying to get some kind of tactical point over to him, and I think having come.
We appear to have lost Mark for a wee second there, I think.
Oh, you're not for a minute, okay. Into the room, which might be less good. Is that better? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better now.
Yeah, sorry. I said, talking about Mal Sterling, I always remember an incident with him and Graham Souness where he's trying to get a tactical point over to him, and Mal was basically saying, you need to tell me what to do there, and I can't remember how much he paid for Mal, but he basically said, I haven't paid £3 million to effing tell you how to control the ball, basically, and all the players started laughing. You know what I mean? So, but he was a very, very funny character, Mal, and his wife was even funnier, believe it or not. She was a big character at the club, and it was a bit disappointed that he left so soon, as you say. He wasn't there long, but Mal was a good player, and he played well in that game, I thought, and I think, as you say, he was on the score sheet, but. Unfortunately, he didn't stay too long for whatever reason, but he was definitely influential when he was there. Yeah.
The obviously clinching the league at Ibrox in front of their own fans and party time. Special.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, we were very close to the squad. We did virtually everything together. Probably too much, if you know what I mean. But we were really, really good squad. So once we won the title, I mean, I always remember thinking that some of the lads needed to go to the Betty Ford clinic at the time, you know what I mean, because we drank that much, but with the partying and stuff. But yeah, as I said, we to be honest with you, even when we didn't get a good result, we always, although obviously disappointed, but we always enjoyed ourselves and quickly forgot about it and just looked for the next game to try and improve. Which, admittedly we didn't lose many, but we always tried to make sure that, we didn't lose too many and played well the next game especially.
And ultimately, we were robbed of a treble that year. We had dubious referee decision, but we'll not go into that too much. We started the next season. Yeah, it was cup final. It was a pretty dour cup final, mate. There wasn't a lot happened in it.
No.
There was, and one of the most consistent players that season obviously made an error, but these things happen. But you moved on to the next season, and Graham's team starting to evolve, and you're becoming one of the stars of the team. Did you feel that? Did you feel a star, or did you?
Oh, well, the club always made me feel welcome, whether it was Tiny in the canteen or the chairman, always made me feel welcome. But just going back onto the cup final, although as you said, it was a dour game. I always remember soon as coming into the because obviously we were gutted that we didn't win the game, getting his medal and throwing it on the floor and saying, I've got something for them next season. And we didn't know at the time what he meant. But obviously with the signing of Mo Johnson a few months later, then we realised what he was on about. So, but I always remember that it was a disappointing day without a shadow of doubt. But I always remember him throwing his medal on the floor. I think Scott needs to be one up and got actually, because Scott should have played actually, if I remember right, because Scott wasn't too happy about not starting the match. But I think Scott went onto the benches and picked the medal up. But I always remember the game where, as I say, we all gutted that we lost it, and him just saying we've got an effing message for them next season, and obviously sign Mo. So, but you're right, next season was definitely different.
Yeah, we'll go to revenge quite quickly because we beat Celtic in the League Cup final.
Yeah.
And once again, you scored a goal. You had a habit of scoring against Celtic and Hearts. I wonder how they upset you. But
I tell you, but one of the reasons why things used to go quite well for me is also it was one of the few teams in the league that used to try and play us as well, try and play football against us. So there was a little bit more space than normal, I'd say, as well, and that definitely helped me because playing in the other teams, less space, basically playing against a back seven sometimes, you know what I mean? So not much space. So, but those games, a little bit more space, and obviously the atmosphere and everything, everybody was up for it. I mean, you didn't need a manager for those games. Those games was, they could sort themselves out, with the adrenaline flowing and the excitement of the game. So that definitely helped me. But yeah, things did go well in those games for me. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Do you think there's a lot of similarities now to what the present teams suffer, maybe? Because obviously sometimes they're playing against 10 men behind the ball. It's not a good watch.
Yeah, it is difficult. It is difficult. You do need a special type of player, and sometimes even tactically, you need to be patient, to play against that, because it is difficult. There's no doubt about it. It's a strange thing for a forward when there's no space, and it's your touch's got to be good. You got to be positive in the right times, and if they're well organised, which most teams are now, it's very difficult to break down. So yeah. Very, very similar, and when you got the ball for long periods, your concentration's got to be high as well, because they can obviously get you on the counter attack as well. So it's not easy, although people might think it is, but it's definitely not easy playing against a defensive-minded team.
The wingers that you talked about, the wingers you played with Villa, the people that, and obviously David Cooper at our club, right through its exception, and great wingers for Alan Morton to Willie Henderson, Willie Johnstone, and then yourself and other David Cooper. This young boy will go to the that people have you seen much of Glenn Middleton at all? And do you think he's got a chance in the game?
I've seen little bits and pieces, but yeah, he's got a lot of potential. Potential means hard work, though. If he can work as hard as he has been doing and consistently, then he's got a chance. He's definitely got a chance. He started his career well so far, and hopefully he can continue that. But you need a special mentality as well. It's not just the ability to play for Rangers. It's only certain type of players can play for these big clubs, and hopefully he's got that in his luck. I think he has, and hopefully he'll prove that. But it's going to be difficult for him, because the first season is normally the easiest, and then the second season, that's when you've got to change your game. Maybe occasionally you've got to do new things, because you remember you play against teams maybe 4 times minimum a season, so you got to do something a little bit different. You can become predictable, so he's got to, all those things he's got to look at. But as I say, he's got potential, and yeah, who knows? I think he will. Hopefully, he does anyway, because we need the bit more good players we got, the better.
Yeah. So we're moving on to your final season at the club. You've scored a goal. We've won the League Cup. We've actually got knocked out the European Cup. I thought they're actually an underrated side, Red Star Belgrade.
Yeah.
The boy in midfield, was it Pancho? Who was a fabulous player.
There was a lad blonde lad who played for Real Madrid as well. I'm trying to think of his name.
They were a good side, mate.
Yeah,
they were a smashing side.
Yeah. Well, they've done well in the competition. I think if they didn't win it, they were in the latter stages. So
yeah,
maybe people thought we should have won, but we weren't playing against any mugs at all. So We were very unlucky in our European campaign when I was there. And as we know in any cup competition, whether it's the Champions League or the League Cup, you just need a bit of luck, and we definitely didn't get any anyway. That's for sure.
No, with a draw. So we moved on. That season was developing. There was a famous game where you got one of your 3 red cards, and I don't know. It was the same 2 teams involved in all your red cards. That was Hearts and Celtic. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know why we got upset playing against them. But the day you get sent off, it was one of your last games for the club. But there was also another 2 players get sent off that day. The dressing room must have been bizarre.
It was quite fun, actually. Funny, not at the time, but I could look, funny peculiar. It was. I remember getting sent off. I was very frustrated. I think I might even have done my hamstring as well in the meantime, or just before. I can't remember, but I definitely wasn't 100%. And I came off, and I was so gutted at the time, really, because it was, that competition was fantastic. I loved playing that competition. And I remember going in and sitting down on the bench, and then looking up, and I think it was either Mark Haitley or Terry Hurlock came in as well. And I mean, what's happened? What's happened? He said, I've been sent off as well. So there's 2 of us sitting down there, and then I'm sure it was Terry Hurlock came in, and so 3 of us sitting in the dressing room. I think, oh my God, I think we've got. I'm sure I said if you get one more off, they've got to abandon the game, So I think that was our only hope of winning the game, is getting it abandoned, I suppose. But it was disappointing, but it was just one of those things. I was really embarrassed and ashamed that to get sent off, in that kind of game when the lads needed us, and very disappointing, and it took a long time to get over that result. I mean, I think what I've noticed about clubs as well is, the bigger clubs, it mentally takes a long time to get over bad results like that, whereas when you're playing for the Swindons and the Bristol Rovers, we lose Saturday, and by Monday everybody's forgotten about it. But the bigger the club, I think the more it hurts, it seems to me. When you lose a match, and that game hurt.
We've got a guy, Bridgman, who comes on the show, and because of Sundries, it'll be Wednesday before he leaves.
Yeah, it's true. I think it's just true. Yeah,
and he's just a fan.
Yeah.
So on you go, Mark.
No, you're right. I think that's one of the reasons why players play at that level consistently or for many years, and whereas I wouldn't say the lesser players, the players who play at a low level, they can just get over results very quickly. And maybe that's the reason why they're playing at that level, whereas the players where it hurts more, they play at a higher level invariably. That's from my experience anyway.
There'd been a change of manager at the club then, obviously Walter came in. Did you feel, was there any difference, or was it seamless because Walter had been there the whole time, or was there a difference?
Walter did a lot of the coaching anyway, and it was, I think, basically seamless. I mean, they made a great double act together because, Graham Souness was more of the abrasive type, and he didn't take any nonsense, whereas Walter was more a bit of a better man manager. He wouldn't take any nonsense. Don't get me wrong, but he'd give you the benefit of doubt or make you feel like have a quiet word with you instead of saying say someone was a little bit late or for training, and it wasn't their fault. Say it was just traffic, and he'd just have a little word and say, "Look, man, you got to make sure that doesn't happen again." Whereas if maybe if the manager Souness did it, he'd let everybody know that if you do that once more, you're going to get fined, and that was just his approach to it. And they made a great double act together. But if they never gave Walter the opportunity to manage, it would have been a travesty, because he deserved the chance to manage the team, because he, as you say, he was an integral part of the management team, and once he got his assistant in, then he could do the things the way he wanted to, and obviously it turned out to be a masterstroke for the club because he he's one of the legendary managers now. Yeah,
he is. Things were developing, and I'll be honest with you, I think the only reason your club let you go was because of the 3 foreign or 3 non-Scotsman rule that was coming in the next season.
Yeah.
It sounds bizarre now.
Yeah.
But one of the last kick of the ball, I remember you personally making, and it was a great day for us. We had lost 3-0 to Motherwell the previous week.
Yeah.
Everybody was down on their feet.
Yeah.
People were injured during the game.
Yeah.
Mark Haitley scored one, put the fear of death into the Aberdeen goal, and then scored one of the finest goals we've seen at Ibrox. One of your crosses.
Yeah.
Bart Haitley scores it in, headers it in. We've won the league against all the odds. Your memories of that game, apart from everybody getting carried off and people getting injured and hobbling about, but what a day.
Yeah, it was. But the week before, as you say, we lost that game 3-0, and it was partly was my fault as well because I missed a penalty that day. And
I didn't want to mention that, Mark. I didn't want to.
Yeah, I remember. I didn't miss many, but that was one. And it's, even now, it got to me now. Never mind, it's like 30 years later. But I missed a penalty, and I blame myself. I blame myself. So all that week we were decrying our luck, and as I said, when you're at big clubs, or I don't know if it's just big clubs, I'm sure it is, but it takes a long time to get over a game. But we had to get over it. We had to get over that result, and so leading up to it, we were all apprehensive, and confidence was a bit low after that result. So I always remember the game, really, really tense, a lot of tense. Very few of us were 100% fit. There's a funny story about eventually my hamstring goes because it was sore, I think, anyway. And John Brown's Achilles tendon snapped, I think, during the game. And I think the reason why I stayed on as opposed to him is because he literally couldn't walk. So I'm saying I better come off with my hamstring. He'd say, no, you stay on. You've got a relatively, small injury. My Achilles has snapped, So he used to wind me up about that, saying, I had a little slight muscle injury where his Achilles has snapped and I'm the one coming off, But it was a horrendous injury time, and very few people were fit who were on the pitch. And for us to get 2-0 result there was, real stroke of luck as well as endeavour. So we were very pleased with the result, and obviously, I think I remember giving Mark a kiss once we scored. I was that happy, you know what I mean? So it was
all right.
A great day.
Great cross as well, mate. Great cross.
Yeah, well, honestly, Mark made the most of that. I mean, literally, it was only him I could aim for, admittedly, but he would outjump most people, particularly with the running jump, and he soared above. I think he was a centre half, but he soared against him and planted the ball right in the net, and he was a fantastic header, which he was capable of doing all the time.
And that was your last game for our club, mate.
Yeah.
And your career progressed on to Liverpool, Southampton, Swindon Town, Bristol Rovers. But while you were with our club, you managed to get an international cap, which it was only one cap, but you've still been capped for your country, mate. So how did that feel at the time?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, after the Aberdeen game, as I said, I pulled my hamstring, so I got the call about a few days later that I was going to get called, and I was chuffed. But I debated with the family, shall I go or not, because the hamstring wouldn't heal in time. There's no way it's going to heal in time. However, I've been desperate for a cap and being involved in the England squad for years before that, and I thought it might be okay if I just look after it and make sure it's all right. But it was never all right. But I couldn't miss the opportunity, so that was a little bit bittersweet because I feel do myself justice in the game, and didn't play as well as I'd love to have played. And unfortunately, it turned out to be my only cap as well. So after that, I was very disappointed, and that it was the only cap. But I did have a lot of players ahead of me, if you like. A lot of, Chris Waddle, John Barnes, Sinton played there. Stevie Hodge played there, who I was with at Villa. So I knew it was going to be difficult after that. But as I say, the cap is I really treasure it, and a lot of players. I've just talked to Ian Snowden earlier today, and I played with him in England youth and under 21s. He played a lot of under 21 games, and he never actually played a full game himself. He was a great player, and that goes for a lot of players who had good club careers who never actually played for England. So yeah, I'm very proud of that. And as I say, it was a tick off the bucket list, if you like, that I had. So I was very, very honoured to have represented England, at full level.
And so you should be, mate. It's a cap. But then you moved to Liverpool with Graham again, yeah?
Yeah.
And obviously Liverpool again were in transition. Graham came in.
Yeah.
he had his health problems. It wasn't maybe the best of times to join Liverpool, who up until around about that time had been the top team in England. But did you enjoy your time there?
Yeah, it was a fantastic period of time. Don't get me wrong. The only reason why I left is, and probably the only reason why Rangers let me leave, was that 3 foreigner rule what was coming in, and I always didn't want to be the reason why I didn't play was because of that silly rule, which they rescinded about a year later anyway. So
yeah, quite quickly it became illegal.
Yeah, illegal. So I wish I'd have just stuck it out in the end. That's how my mind was. But I don't regret anything I did at the time. That was a situation. I was got to get over of it, and I was leaving a fantastic club. But I knew that I had to go for that reason. And I had a great time at Liverpool. Unfortunately, we didn't win the things that I wanted us to win when I went there, which was the league, which they'd won a couple of years before that, and some other things, and maybe Champions League that I was hoping that we could win, having got back into Europe as a country. So again, it was a fantastic move for me, and it's just a shame that we didn't win the things that, as I say, as a footballer, you want to win things. That's the only reason why I played, is because I wanted to win things. Unfortunately, we didn't win enough at Liverpool. You
would only play for. Well, let me just get up. Stoke City, Wolverhampton Wanderers, Southampton, Swindon Town, Bristol Rovers, in nearly a 20-year career, mate.
Yeah.
Fabulous career, fabulous player, great memories for us, and you've now collated all your memories on and off the park into a book, mate. With one of the friends of our show who's helped you write the book, Jeff Holmes, mate. How was that your experience?
It was very cathartic, because there were some memories that I had that I even suppressed maybe, or not spoke about, and put it on the back burner, if you like. So to get all those memories and things off my chest, which a lot of things were said that didn't really reflect what I felt at the time, and going through them and making them public was really good for me. I really enjoyed the process of making the book, and it's really interesting, and I do really recommend it, not just because it's my book, but just because there's some interesting facts that a lot of people won't know about me, as I was a relatively private person, didn't really get or caught the publicity, if you like. So there'll be some good facts in there what people won't know. So I think it's a really good read. Yeah.
Well, Rangers Radio is going to have 2 copies of Mr. Holmes, and hopefully they'll have your signature on them, and we'll be giving them away as prizes, mate, for some of our listeners, mate.
Yeah.
And if we get one, I'll be getting one to read. And you must have took a lot of time thinking on the title of the book.
There's a few ones were put to me, and I had a couple of myself, but I thought, a lot of people said I used to try and wing it half the time in some things I used to do. So I thought, it's a bit apt playing on the wing as well, a lot of my career, and it was just apt. And I thought, that's the one. As soon as I heard it, I said, that's the title of the book.
When I seen that, when it first came out, I thought the title was superb, mate. I think it suits.
Yeah.
I think you're one of the finest wingers to play for our club in the modern era, mate. It was an absolute pleasure watching you. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I hope your book's a roaring success. And any time you want to come on this show and speak about anything you're doing Rangers related, we'll be more than willing to have you on, Mark.
Oh, that's really kind of you to say. It was an absolute pleasure playing for Glasgow Rangers, and they have a special part in my heart from then. And I remember someone saying to me, when you play for Rangers, you're Rangers for life. And I thought, that they say that every club, but it's so totally true. I mean, the way they accepted me, and the way they backed me up, and from the tea lady, as I said, Tiny, to the chairman at the time, Mr. Murray, looking after my family the way they did, there's no way I could ever say a bad word for Glasgow Rangers. And I'm a fan myself now. Anyway, I always look out for the results, and I always go up there, and I'm going to a game on Sunday, the Hearts game. So the special club, and some special people at the club as well. So it was an absolute pleasure to play for Glasgow Rangers.
And it was a pleasure watching you, Mark. Mark Walters, for everybody here at Rangers Radio, thanks for taking the time to join us, and don't be a stranger.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Cheers, mate. All the best.
Yeah, thanks. Good night. Bye.
I've sailed the wide Atlantic, across the broad Pacific shore. I've sailed around the stormy capes, I've heard the parties roar. I fly the Indian Ocean, I've sailed the China Sea. But there's a sea back home in Scotland, means more than all the rest to me. It's the blue, yes, the blue sea of my brow. It's the greatest sight that I have ever seen. It's the blue, yes, the blue sea of my brow. And it happens when the orange beat the green. No more I'll sail the seven seas, no more I'll ever roam. No more I'll feel the urge again, I'm back where I belong. At 3 o'clock each Saturday, I'll join a happy throng, with Rangers banners all around. We'll proudly sing this song. It's the blue, yes, the blue sea of my brow. It's the greatest sight that I have ever seen. It's the blue, yes, the blue sea of my brow. And it happens when the orange beat the green. It's the blue, yes, the blue sea of my brow. It's the greatest sight that I have ever seen. It's the blue, it's the blue sea of my brow. And it happens when the orange beat the green. And it happens when the orange beat the green.
Hello, good evening. Welcome back to Rangers Radio. Bridgeman will be with us in 1 second, and we'll also be joined by Ulster and Fox. Evening, gents.
Evening. I really enjoyed that.
What did they say? Some people say never talk to your sort of football or your sport heroes. He was a guy, all 8 games. I was at all 8 games, remember, as if they were yesterday, and he was a great player and came across as a thoroughly nice guy. Oh, Bridge dropped it again. He'll be with us in a second. Fox, you with us, mate?
I am, mate.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed that. Great interview. Mark was a great interviewee.
Yeah.
And he told it was what it was like at that time. I thoroughly enjoyed it, as I say.
Absolutely brilliant, Oxshare. Absolutely brilliant. Well done.
Great guy, great performer for your club. Big goals, big game player, and maybe underrated to the left our club, Bridge. I don't know if you were there. Were you back home by then?
Aye, and the smiles on my face as I was listening to him talking about the 4-1 game and this game and that game. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What can you say?
2 goals against Celtic in an early game.
Just
the cross
fabulous.
for Hateley, goals in cup finals. Great player, Fox.
Was there not a 5-1 game he was in as well and he scored?
Yep, he scored a goal in that.
That's the game we could have got 7 or 8, couldn't we?
Aye, that's what he was talking about. He put the cross in for Drinko. He was involved in McCoy's goal. He got brought down. Wasn't a big ache to bring anybody down. But Ulster, a wee bit before your time, but I know you've been studying up in some videos and you've seen some of the skills. A special player, special talent, and a special man.
Yeah. First and foremost, without even the football, just a really nice guy. It comes across that way. He is really, really nice fella. Just like a normal person who's been very fortunate to be a cracking footballer. I've seen all the videos, as I say. Unbelievable, absolutely fantastic. And then there's been a lot of pressure for him at that stage coming up here. I say up here, over to Scotland and playing. And obviously the support having Davy Cooper for so long playing on the wing. We all know what a legend he wasn't to try and fill his boots. But he done that. He won titles, he won cups, and spells in Europe, mate. And a fantastic career. And I think you've seen with his book launch yesterday the amount of fans that wanted copies and signed copies. That the interest is still there in him, and credit to him.
A wonderful player, wonderful exponent of the game, marvellous. The treatment he got at Celtic Park when he was there, absolutely shocking. And this guy that's in charge of SFA now, and he's talking about the linesman getting hit with a coin. Way back then, it was when was it Dallas? Hugh Dallas got hit with a coin right in the face.
That was a different time, Bridge.
But I'm saying that there's lots of stuff went on, and when Walter was there, they were throwing the bananas in.
That club's got a carpet. I don't know how much you would need to sweep under it, mate. Some of the things that's thrown at that place. Look, we know, and everybody connected with your support. You're reading it in all the forums. The perpetrator of that, he's got to live with that. And your club, the fans aren't happy, the support aren't happy, and the individual, he'll know who it is, and he's got to live with it. But we don't want to talk about it because we're talking about Mark Walters tonight, Fox. Great player, skillful player. Somebody we could do to open some of these defences at the moment. Is there similarities, maybe more so with the young boy Kent, mate?
Well, I think you described exactly for me how you've got to cope with these packed defences, and we've all said we all give the team stick, but when you hear that for a professional, how hard it is to break these teams down when they're well organised and very stuffy with it, mate. And funny enough, Cushy put the clip in the goal for Big Hateley into the lobby, and what happened in that clip? Stuart Monroe went screaming down the left and he's outside, drew the defender, in went the cross, and Big Hateley rose. I've never seen anybody jump like Big Hateley. I know it's about 8 he gets up to bullet in the perfect cross.
Oh, it was a great header, mate, and a great goal.
Yep.
Great day.
Yep.
Great day. I had the post at my door that day about 9 in the morning, the flat.
That's not unusual.
And I had the records playing out the window. Somebody sitting at my door. Turned them off, then turned them on again. There we go. But I enjoyed that. I enjoyed speaking to him, mate, and a fabulous insight. And he was brave, Bridge. You have different kind of braveness in the football part. Somebody who takes the ball at him, tricks, runs at people, takes tackles. It's a different kind of braveness who maybe you had in your position, eh?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I have to say, he was a wonderful exponent of the game. Great stuff. When he's on the ball, it was thrilling to watch him. And I'm quite sure that all the Rangers supporters that ever watched him have got nothing but praise for him. He was just a superb player. There were days when he had his off days like everyone else, but the truth of the matter is 99% of his game was just sheer skill. Speed, skill, wonderful stuff to watch. Scored some smashing goals for us and created a load as well. Brilliant. Just brilliant. And I had a lot of skill just like him, truth be told.
I'll tell the truth then. Another thing,
you were doing all right up to that last bit.
Another thing that came up there was a great point for me, was the bigger the club, a defeat hurts more, mate. I thought that was a very, very good point, that. I mean, we looked at our team after the game at Livingston there, and a lot of people feel as though it's only the supporters that hurt, mate, but according to him, top professionals can hurt every bit as much, mate, you know.
You've got to remember, he had no association with your club. He said he admitted he knew very little about Scottish football because the world was a different place. You'd only Match of the Day in England. They never get any Scottish football coverage before the satellite telly came about, Bridge.
Absolutely. But satellite TV, brilliant. It's, I think... Sorry, pal, go on.
Come, you carry on, mate.
No, I was just going to say, I think that the satellite telly, that sort of gave the Souness era, it went hand in hand with the Souness era, truth be told, the modern day, or the nearly modern day television situations, and the amount of times that Rangers were on the telly was just incredible. But they were wonderful to watch, just wonderful. Just loved it. It's the whole thing, all the way through, from when Souness came along, right through, it was just every year there was a new change, or appeared to be anyway, a new change. Right up to the sort of more modern technology as it is today. And we've seen that all the way along. When we were in the third division, they got a contract with the SFL at the time, Scottish Football League, just to show the Rangers games. Mind, they were building all the scaffolding in all the wee grounds just to show the Rangers games. Just incredible stuff, And Rangers have got a great history with the television. Marvellous. Still doing it yet.
I mean, obviously, again, mate, you're a bit younger, even though me and Fox showed you how the old guys do it the other week. But that team, and obviously it was just before Marks came. When Graham Souness came in, there's a lot of similarities between him and Steven Gerrard, but it took him his fifth away game to crack it as well, mate. He got caught up in it as well, and ultimately we went in a run and we won the league. So, fingers crossed the same thing can happen this year. Eh?
Yes, and also you could hear the similarities as well when he was talking, especially when he was saying about it's easier sometimes to play against the bigger sides. Maybe the better teams to come out and try and play you, and it's harder to break down teams. And I'm sure Mark Walters probably wasn't used to that because the clubs he probably played, even Aston Villa, he probably wouldn't have got in English football in the top flight at that time. People defending with 7, 8 men behind the ball. And obviously when we'd have been going to the teams in the league in Scotland, there would have been teams would have been worried about getting a drubbing, so that's how they defended. And I think we're seeing that quite a lot. Our team's probably new to this as well. So they're not, this is maybe something hopefully the team will learn, like Souness's team learned back then, how to break them down, how do you be patient, you wait for your chances to come and believe in yourself that they will come and your players around you. And that might be the exact same thing for Steven Gerrard's team. Maybe it'll just take time for them to have belief in their own ability, work out how these teams are playing, and just bide your time, don't panic, and wait for the chances to come. So hopefully we'll have the same thing again.
All right, if people want to join us, what's the number, Bridge?
The number's 0141 356 1972.
Where else can they join us, Ulster?
You can join us on Skype at Rangers Radio Online.
Yep. And just for everybody that's out there, Mark Walters' book is Winging It, and it became available yesterday. And you never know, we might have a couple to give away on the show, yeah. Are we over Sunday yet, Bridgeman?
Well, I think so, yes. I started to feel it a wee bit better this morning, as I say. And yes, it takes probably what you said to Mark there is about right. It takes 2 or 3 days to get over it. But we're back on our feet again, and we're really looking forward to Thursday night now. Really looking forward to it. It's a glitch, call it what you like, a hiccup, but we need to, as fans, we need to go over it. We know what it was. We'll not forget it, that's for sure. But hopefully we don't hear Mr. Tavernier coming out and telling us, we'll do better next time, and we're sorry We apologise to the fans for the bad performance. We heard all that last season, and we don't want to hear that again. So let's get the head down, get on with our job, start winning games. That's what we want to do. Starting on Thursday, please. Mollocate them.
Fox, have you got a bit of sympathy for the manager? I mean, he's got his backroom staff there. He made a call, and obviously the players never performed, and we had a bad result. But it doesn't matter about the personnel. He couldn't have seen that performance coming because there was nothing to intimate that before it, was there?
No, it was just like the start of September, mate. We didn't turn up against them, and we finished the end of September with another disappointing result. But in between, we had some really, really good results, especially the 2-2 away to Villarreal. We scored a lot of goals against St Johnstone and Ayr United. So it's been what would you say, a half-good September. Some people would go further and say the result in Europe, which done us really well, mate, to start off our campaign in the group stages, get through to the next round of the League Cup. So overall, it's not been a bad month for us. And I think with these 2 games left before the break comes in against Rapid and Hearts, if we can finish on a high before the break, I think we'll be feeling quite all right, mate. I don't know about you.
What's your thinking, Ulster?
I'm still a bit disappointed, but like, I can't really complain too much. Like the teams come out, they haven't tried to gloss anything, and neither has the manager. Everybody's come out and and been honest that it was probably not our best performance. So all we can do now is look, it's done. Hopefully they learn from it, they work on what they have to work on, and we just learn from mistakes and carry on. Because there's no point dwelling on it too much. We've been critical when we need to be, and we've given a lot of praise when we have to as well, and when it's due. So we just need to move on, try and get a win on Thursday here. Then it's into the league again, where every game becomes important against Hearts, which will be tough, and just have to back the teammate, and hopefully they can turn things around, especially away from home.
Aye. For me, the bigger of the 2 games is the Hearts game, Bridge, if that makes any sense, mate. I think it's imperative we get 3 points there, mate.
You're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. And sorry, I actually don't want to go past Thursday, but I understand what you're saying. Hearts is once again a absolutely massive game. If we don't win that, that's we're in deep trouble. We're in deep trouble from a league perspective for sure. We need to get points. Need to start moving up the league, and the best way to do that is to win your games, particularly at home. And we need to do that. But for me, it's Thursday. Thursday's a huge game. Absolutely huge game.
Thursday's a huge game, but I don't know what your thinking is. For me, Fox, the bigger of the 2 games is the Sunday game.
I would agree. For the fans it is, mate. We must win against Hearts to push ourselves back up the league again. Hope some of the results go for us. We can take 3 points away from Hearts as well. It's a big game on Sunday. I think Thursday night will be about enjoyment for the fans. I hope we really turn it on, mate, and entertain the fans. I think Sunday maybe be a bit dour and a real struggle, but I'm hoping we get there at the end of the game and we come away with a win.
What's your thinking, Big Ulster?
Well, I want to win every game, obviously, but when it comes to it, if someone says to me now, like, I'll guarantee you 2 wins in your next 3 and you can pick them, I'll be picking Hearts and Hamilton away every day of the week, mate. But I'd like to be greedy and take a win in all of them. I think we're good enough to beat Rapid. They're in a wee bit of disarray, but let's not take them lightly, and I'm sure we won't. They'll still be tough opposition, but I think we're good enough to do them, to be honest, at Ibrox. But then it's the league for me, I just want my bread and butter, and I enjoy Europe, and I'm enjoying every game we're in it, and we're doing really well, better than I thought we could. To be fair, didn't think we'd even get this far, so it's a bonus for me where we are now, actually. But I'm still, the league for me will always be number one.
I think everybody agrees with you there. Now, obviously, that's the one that we want to win, and that's going to be, as the manager said, it's our bread and butter. But we can't forget that we're in a competition. And the competition it starts again on Thursday night, and we've got to put a team out and go and do the business. Otherwise, there's no point in being in the competition at all.
I agree.
When the game kicks off at 7:45, I'll be kicking every ball and want us to win, Bridge.
Absolutely, but absolutely.
But in the big picture for me, and I get Foxy's point, for the club, there's some maybe financial aspects, there's the profile, everything that goes with playing against Rapid Vienna, who are a team that it's a known, they're no a Bayern Munich or a Real Madrid, but they're at a certain level in Europe. We're playing them, and if we get a result, fantastic. But for me, if we lose on Sunday, we'll put myself under a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure, absolutely. 100% agree. 100% agree. My honest opinion is that if we win on Thursday and get points on the board and get a win in, and then the next game, the next Europa League game is again a home game. Rangers their profile is going to shoot right up sky high, man. It's going to go sky high compared to what it was 3 months ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're spot on, but if we get beat for Hearts and there's another bad result in the sticky wicket, we could be in a relegation battle, Bridge.
Absolutely. Before long, we're lying six. Admittedly, we're only
it's tight. We could win on Saturday and go second if the results went our way, but we've got to start winning 3, 4, 5, 6 matches in a row in the league, mate.
Yeah, and I think that I've said it a number of times now. Our players, no matter who, our manager's brilliant and we'll love it me bits, but it needs to get a team and it needs to somehow or other magic that team to get them into a particular state of mind that no matter what happens, it's Rangers. People will always want to beat us. That we are the bar, shall we say. We are the bar. And if they can get something out of Rangers, it's great. You saw the state of some of the Livingston players after that game. They were euphoric. A great result for them. And they played well. They deserved it, truth be told. We were poor. But we shouldn't be poor. I think that's the point I'm trying to make. We shouldn't be poor. We're Rangers. And as Big Alfie for Australia says many times, we're the Rangers. We shouldn't really be bothered. Of course we're going to be bothered, but you know what I mean. But our players never turned up. Just never turned up. So we need to get that sorted.
And I'm sure we'll hear from Stephen Gerrard. We'll go to the interview today, but we'll use that tomorrow night to give some traction to build up to Thursday night's game. Fox, the people have discussed the rotation of players. Sometimes we're overcomplicating it and changing the team, or do you just have to play players and then they're going to get a rest come Sunday night?
I think we rest too many players at the one time. I'm a great believer in playing your strongest side at all times. Only injury should take you out the first team lineup for me. Or if one player is not performing over the course of maybe 2 to 3 games, that's the time to replace them. But things are. It's been a hard start for the manager and the teammate. Highs in Europe, some lows in the league, but we do forget that this team hasn't been assembled that long, and they're still. I think what shows up in the league is that they haven't met some of these teams before, and I don't think we know how to counteract their tactics at times, but we'll learn. We've played everybody new, I think, once we play Hearts, I think. So there's no excuses going on. We know the sort of systems they all play, and hopefully we can combat that in the matches ahead. But everything's looking good at the club. And once again tonight, the youths away playing in Europe tonight beat Hamburg 5-0 with a hat-trick for Andy Dallas and Cami Palmer and Sergi Atakai. scoring. Things are looking good all over the club. We just need some time to settle. And I think come the end of the season, we'll not be disappointed.
I hope he's right, Big Ulster, huh?
Yeah, I think Fox is right, But then, you know what it's like? We are Rangers fans. We demand the best. That's just the way we are. And then when we lose a game and we don't play well, you can forget quickly how quick this team has been assembled, and it maybe blinds you sometimes. You're so bitterly disappointed with the result, But then you calm down a wee bit and you look at it logically, and I can see where Fox is coming from, and I agree with him. I think we'll only get better, but I think the manager has a big decision on his hands, especially for Thursday and Sunday coming up, because Hearts are a very good team. They've done very well in the league, and you've got Rapid as well. So he's going to look to, in my opinion, because we've seen it so far, maybe change the teams up between Thursday and Sunday, and he has to work out who's got who.
That's part of the problem for me, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if somebody's tired, they get a wee strain or something, they maybe come out the team. But if you're saying like Bridge wants us, obviously we all want us to win on Thursday night and then hopefully win on Sunday as well. But the core of your team should be pretty much the same, Bridge, yeah?
Well, certainly the actual key positions, and so far as your defence and that's concerning, and that will be. I think, unfortunately, that young boy Worrell. Well, no, he wasn't alone, was he? They all seem to be a dearth of quality in our team at the weekend there. So somewhere along the line, the manager's got to get that sorted. Somewhere along the line, because we should be able to switch a couple of players, not necessarily 10 and 11. A couple of players we shouldn't have such a huge dent. But there we changed 7 or 8 players who played quite well the previous game. And from there was another few changes to the previous game for that. So there's been a number of changes throughout. And I think Big Ulster's mentioned that a few times. If my memory serves me right, forgive me, Ulster. I think you've been saying it appears he doesn't quite know what his best team is. And that may be true insofar as his midfield's concerned. And maybe he just doesn't have the guys as 100% fit as he would like them to be. Because Koulibaly didn't look anything like he'd been when he first came to us in a few games. It was absolutely dynamite.
Koulibaly's no kicked the ball since he came back.
I'm saying that. He doesn't look the same player. So whether in fact he should be what I'm meaning is whether in fact he should be playing him simply because he thinks he's a big strong player, blah blah blah. The truth is, if he's not playing well, he shouldn't be getting played, but he might be stuck. That's what I was meaning about. He doesn't know. We don't know how bad, good injury wise the rest of the squad was. But hopefully that's going to, as you said, as we go on, hopefully that will change and he'll start to get a bit of confidence in who he's going to pick, and we'll go on winning. We've got to win. We are Rangers. We will win.
Hope you're right, mate. So people can join us for the last half an hour. What's the number, Ulster?
0141356 1972.
Where else can they join us, Bridge?
They can join us on Skype at rangersradio.online. If they've been on before, they'll hopefully come straight through into the show. Other than that, Fox will pick them up and bring them in, treat them nicely.
He always does that, mate. On you go, big man.
Just a quick point I was going to make, and I'm not saying this will happen, but just say, for talk's sake, it does, right? So say if the manager has played our normal back four, say with Barisic, Katic, Goldson, Tav, he has his inform Wenger on Kent on the weekend, and we win the match, everybody will be delighted, and of course we will. And what happens if he say gives Kent the rest, maybe puts Worrell back in for Katic in the Sunday game, and we don't get the 3 points? That's the
You'll get shitty, mate. You'll get absolutely shitty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that's what I think the manager has to look at these 2 games and really prioritise who he wants to play, and is he going to stick with the same teams,
Do you think Hearts will come to play, or do you think they'll be happy to get out of Ibrox with a point, mate?
They'd take a point now, wouldn't they?
Aye.
They'd take a point now, mate. Bridgman?
Yeah, something says that. I agree with you to a certain extent. But I think Hearts are flying. Their confidence up. Their tails are up, and they're on top of that league. They're not on the top of the league for nothing. I think they quite fancy Craig Levein. Quite fancies coming to Ibrox and taking us on. That's what I think. He's seen us. He's seen. He was there, I think, in the St Johnstone game or the Dundee game, maybe both. So I mean, I think he quite. Maybe he was in hospital at the time. Sorry. But he certainly quite fancies himself against the Rangers, and that's for sure. Well, I hope you're right. I hope they come and they want to play in the defence, and we'll need to take them apart, and simple as that. We'll want to take them apart, mollocate them.
Mollocate them, big Ulster.
Mollocate them. So yeah, they'll not be sitting as far back as a St Johnstone team does, or a Hamilton team. I think their tails are up. I think they'll want to play against us. They'll not come flying out of the blocks. They'll keep it tight. But I would say they'll have numbers waiting to counter-attack us, because I've watched them a few times this season, and they are good. They're dangerous, very dangerous, especially against them lot at their own ground. That's what they've done. They defended very, very well. They got the ball up the pitch very quickly and effectively, and they played very well, to be honest. And I think they'll definitely give us a game on Sunday. But I hope Bridge is right, and we exploit any weaknesses they do have or any spaces and mollocate them. And I think hopefully, if we can get a good big win against Hearts, that'll maybe kick us on for the rest of the season.
I'm going to say this because of the Livingston result. I'd take 1-0. I'm going to Bridge.
I'd take
yes, exactly. That's what I say, and I make no excuses for saying it. I'm telling you now. As far as I'm concerned, 1-0 will do me fine, because. You start getting a wee bit worried. Or I do anyway. I think to myself, are we going to actually make this? Are we going to win our next game? Which, as I said before, Livingston, I wasn't 100% confident, to be honest. I'd have taken 1-0, as you all know. I would have taken 1-0 gladly with a big smile on my face. Because, as it turned out, my goodness gracious, they could have won 3. They could win by 3 dead easy. So, yes, I'm a low-score man, and I hope we can beat Hearts 1-0 at least. That's what I hope. We can beat them 1-0 at least.
Aye, I would take that now, but I think it would be good if we could win on Thursday night, Fox. That's a great result for us, and it's a great result for Scottish football as well, isn't it?
A great result. Absolutely. Oh, sorry, pal.
Aye, without a doubt. But as we all know, the league is the most important. The UEFA league mate is money, I think, is vital, which is vital to the club. But further support, the league's the most important. I think we go to our cup final by getting into the group stages, and I think, like everybody else, we'll have a go on Thursday night. But I wouldn't be too disappointed if that result turned against us. But on Saturday, I think it's vital to score early, because that'll change Hearts' plans. If they plan to sit in and probably counter-attack us, they would then need to come out. And I think it would be a really exciting game if they come out and played football. Our creative players are on our wings, and maybe a Jarrier will find a bit of room to slide rule passes into the front men. Or the front man in Morelos, and a bit of room for him, and it could be a right high scoring game. But I think we could beat them. The record's good at Ibrox, and I'm really looking forward to it. I know it's a full house and there's a scarcity of tickets for it, but I'm looking forward to it, mate. I think that'll be an absolute belter of a game.
Talking about tickets, there's still a few hundred left for Thursday night, Ulster, so if people want to snap them up, get out of the game, it's there, a chance to take maybe the family along. They can't get any other game. It'd be great to get another full house. It's still good revenue for the club. Of
course, mate. Exactly. I think there's maybe a few hundred left because the price is scaring a few away. I think it's £41 for the individual ticket. I was reading somewhere today, but if you have the spare money there, guys, and you just want to go and watch the game Thursday night, the tickets are there. So get yourselves to the ticket office and snap them up before they go. It's going to be a great night.
I'm quite convinced that'll be a full house for sure.
They're moving. All the sections are starting to fill up. There's only handfuls in some of the sections left, but the tickets are moving.
Doesn't it just make you all proud? Doesn't it make you all proud that here we are and we're virtually every game at Ibrox is virtual full house, isn't it? There might be, because of the, shall we say, the safety aspect of the away support, we're giving away something like 900 to 1,000 spaces in there, and that's just sad. That is, but other than that, from a Rangers fan perspective, we're filling it. The Rangers part is all full, so I think that's fabulous. Well done, big hands to the Rangers fans. Just wonderful performances by them, wonderful. Hope our team does the same thing, but.
Aye. We need to play. What's your team on Thursday night, Fox? Who are you picking at the moment? We've not heard from the manager yet. We will tomorrow night. But what's your thinking? How would you line up? No, we lost Fox.
I think so.
All right. What's your team, Big Ulster?
Oh, that's so tough, isn't it? Well, I'll be going for definitely left back. Well, goalkeeper McGregor. Left back of Barisic, Karic, Goldson, Tav. I think I'd go for Koulibaly in the midfield. Artfield, probably because I've enjoyed him in Europe. Maybe not as much in the league game, some of the league games, but I think in Europe he proves his quality. I don't know. The last one I don't know, because you've got Ajari, you've got Dorans. Maybe Dorans, to be honest, because I think he's got that creativity. I'd be going with a forward three of Kent, probably Morelos, and right side, maybe Candace. I think that's what I would go with. But I would like to see that same team, or as close as possible as that same team, especially the back five, going into Sunday's game as well.
It'll be interesting to see what the midfield setup. What's your thinking, Bridge?
Well, I think if it was me, if I was allowed to pick the ones, I would pick the same defence and goalkeeper as Ulster said there. But if I could, and they were all fit and available, it would be Ryan Jack in the defensive mid role. In front of them, I would have Dorans and Ajaria, whatever his name is. And for the front three, I would have would be Candace, Morelos, and Kent. That's what I would have.
You back with us, Fox?
I'm indeed, mate. Sorry about that.
That's all right, mate. I know, obviously, you've had a message and plenty of fish, so... what's your thinking for the team?
Plenty of couple that is new for me. My team would be McGregor in goal. Would be Tav, Goldson, Katic and Barisic. I'm not sure whether Koulibaly will be 100% fit. If he's in there, I would play more or less the same back six with Koulibaly, and I'd bring Andy Halliday back in as well. They two as defensive midfielders. I would go with Ajaria in the middle up front, along with Candias and Kent, and Morelos up front. So it'd be like a 4-2-3-1, I would go, mate.
The Christmas tree?
Oh, no, exactly. Yeah, but near enough.
Aye, well, I see where you're coming from there. I might...
If Koulibaly's no fit, that's what I was going to say. If Koulibaly's no fit, young McCrory must come in. We've got to be able to defend in this game as well. And we did prove over Villarreal, mate, we're capable when we go forward. But we have to keep it tight at the back as well. Sorry about that. Bridge, man.
When you go, Bridge?
No, I never said anything, but I'm happy. I think I'll go along with what the boys have said. As I said, I've given my team, and I think that we will defend quite well with that team, and we'll get a bit of pace in there with Candace and Kent. We need Dorans to spark, and Ajaria to sort of play alongside him to all intents and purposes, and we need Jack to patrol, and that would be your defensive stuff. You need Jack to work well with the other boys, pick the ball up, and they distribute it properly. And Morelos needs to be on fire. He needs to be on fire.
Who thinks Jack will be playing?
I think we'd have seen him get a run out before now, mate. Do you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's much like as Fox is saying there. If Koulibaly's fit, you would probably play Koulibaly. If Jack's fit, I would play Jack. But we just don't know. McCrory could play in there. It's Ibrox. He always plays quite well, Ibrox. He could play in there.
That'd be interesting. So it's Kent and Candias for everybody in the wide positions, Ulster?
Yeah, I think so, mate. I know Greza can play on the right as well. I just don't think I've seen enough of him. I think eventually, though, he'll be the one most of us will want in there, to be honest, on the wing. But we haven't seen enough for him, so that's why I'm sticking with the old people. Candias.
We must be getting close to getting fit now, Greg.
I don't think he'll start the game till after the international break.
We might see him, Fox, huh?
Aye, after the international break, but I don't think we'll see him start the game before then.
So I think the manager's quite keen on him, isn't he, Oxtear? I mean, I think the manager's quite keen on him.
They went after him, but I mean, he's got to be fit, isn't he? And he's not doing anything.
Oh yes, absolutely.
He's got to be fit, you know. We're a bit flat, Ulster. Let's be honest about it. Sundays took the wind out of our sails a bit. We have to be honest.
Yeah, but going back to what Mark Walter said earlier, you know, the big clubs hurt more sometimes in the dressing room, and hopefully our team is hurting at the minute, and hopefully it makes them, you know, come out with performances in the next few games. Hopefully they use that in the right way, mate, and just basically have a mentality that it's happened once, it won't be happening again. That's what we're all hoping for as fans.
Good point, mate. Good point. Still, if I could just take us back a wee bit, Bridge. Are you there, mate? Bridge? Oh.
I'm here, pal.
Oh, he's back.
I was doing a bridge.
All right.
He even uses his own trademark, Ulster.
Oh, man.
Just want to take us back a wee bit. I know it seems as if it was yesterday. 12 years ago today, on this day, a Rangers team of Alan McGregor, Alan Hutton, Sasa Parkshire, Carlos Quella, David Weir, my mate Kevin Thompson, Barry Ferguson, Brahim Hadami, DeMarcus Beersley, Lee McCulloch and Daniel Couzans went to the champions of France, one of the favourites for the Champions League, and beat them 3-0, Ulster. 3-0 goals for Beasley, McCulloch and Couzan.
That was a crazy result. That literally was one of those results that shook European football. And I remember Sky Sports talking about it for so long, so many days and days afterwards. Probably one of our best performances away from home in Europe that I've ever seen. You guys have maybe seen better. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. That was a great Lyon team.
The quality opposition would have been up there, mate, in a one-off result.
Well, they were winning their leagues, 7, 8, 9 times in a row, maybe 7, I can't remember. They were winning the French division a wee bit like PSG are now, totally dominant in their league. They were a fantastic side. Some world-class stars played for that team. Benzema and all, I think, was there at the time. Janino as well, I think, in the field. He had a couple of cracking free kicks, dangerous. They were a world-class side, mate, and we came and were absolutely fantastic. Definitely a result that nobody's seen coming. And it was just one of those days you're so proud of your team. You can't believe what you're watching. Coming away 3-0 from Lyon. Gee, that was just one of the best nights ever for me away from Europe that I've ever seen.
Bridge?
I liked a lot of the games that when Daniel Couzan was involved. I thought Daniel Couzan was a real warrior for us, and he always put a shift in, and he always gave you everything, and would have fought anyone. and that's the type of person I like playing for us. And when he played for us and he was on a wee bit of form at all, we're, always got a good show. And I thought he was marvellous for us. Just marvellous in the European theatre. Just great. It's great. Loved it. Loved all these games.
I think I read he's been in the management. He's in his national team, mate.
I believe so, yeah. I believe so. I wish him nothing but health and wealth. Hope he does well, really and truly. I liked him. I wish Rangers could have signed him for another couple of seasons, to be quite honest.
He was a handful, when he played.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
I think he had a wee bit of the petty lip on him as well, but...
Well, I think most of them have. I remember it was him that, when we had our troubles...
Oh, Brits was still talking there, Rock. Sorry, mate. Go ahead, Brits.
I'm going to say it was him. Was it no him? It was when we had our troubles, and Ali McCoy's come out and says, Daniel Cousin's still, as far as I'm concerned, he's going to be playing, but we never had any money or something like that anywhere. Something really strange happened, and all of a sudden he was gone, or he was going to come, whatever. The Rangers were going to buy him, but they never had the money to buy him. Something daft like that, Can you remember that, Ulster?
I can't remember the whole going on. So it was something weird about it. But it was a great last performance he put in for us, though, against them, lad, away from home.
Oh, wonderful stuff. Wonderful. I just loved it.
I think that was away from home, wasn't it?
It was at Parkhead, yeah.
He was a big nuisance. Cracking footballer. Just as you say, mate, I'm a bit like yourself. It's just I wish it would maybe a season or two more out of him. I'd have been a bit more happy.
I loved him and that style of centre forward, and big Dado Purzo, fabulous player, just fabulous. I just loved him, and that Mark Haitley as well. Oh my goodness, Walter Smith brought him back for one game. Dear oh dear, he ran right on the centre half. Fantastic. I wish we had some players like that now, didn't you?
We've got different kinds of players, but obviously Morelos has got physique, but he ain't got he's about 8 inches short of Cousin, I think,
Yeah, absolutely.
What is Morelos, about 5? No, maybe not that. About 5'10", Morelos, is he?
I'm not too sure. Maybe a wee bit taller. I'm not 100% sure. I do like Morelos. Morelos just is frustrating at times, I just wish that he would lose the attitude. I think he gets down too quick, and he sort of has an attitude of, it's just not going to be my day, and then the bottom lip goes down. He needs to try and just believe in his ability a wee bit more, and just sort of get that good striker mentality of, okay, I've missed the first chance, but I believe in myself to get the next one or the next one or the next one. I think that's just something he needs to add to his game.
He's got a true petted lip, man, a huge petted lip. It gets the whole lower face because it's all contorted when he starts getting upset, Wow.
The last time I seen a petted lip like that was when I forgot to get Fox a pony of beer when I got around, didn't it?
Wow. Was Foxy upset, was he?
Oh, he wasn't happy, mate. I had to go way back up and get him.
Poor Foxy.
I think the problem for us is that the teams in Scottish football have his card marked, and they know they can rile him up, and they know we can get a reaction from him, and it's just something our management staff are going to have to try and sort out. But I know it's hard. If it's in you, it's in you. It's just the way it is, I suppose, your personality.
But Ulster, I was hoping that something would spark Morelos and Sunday there, and it just never happened. And nothing sparked Lafferty either. It just seemed that those two players were doing, maybe not saying no trying, but it just seemed that everything they tried to do never come off. And I don't know what it was. As far as Lafferty's concerned, I think there was something wrong with his either his feet, knees, or his boots, whatever the case may be. But I just don't know what it was. They just weren't there. The spark wasn't there, and I think that reflected in most of the team, to be honest with you.
At all levels, top level of sport, mate, if your attitude's not on it, mate, you will suffer. And if we've been really honest, we didn't look as if we were up for it on Sunday. Ulster?
Oh yeah, it's up to me, sorry. Yeah, it wasn't happening for us, mate. just wasn't happening. The different players he brought on, it didn't change things. He tried to switch formations a wee bit, took Lafferty off. I know Kent give his best, like he probably the best out of the whole team to be fair, but you need the players around you to help you. You can't just do things on your own. And, but it's because the mentality they'll be high for Rapid here because it's a European match, and then Hearts game's a massive game. I just think they need to try and come out with that same sort of attitude, even in the smaller ties, because they just have to get it in their head that the teams they're playing, it's not like they're going to be playing Motherwell, they're playing Rangers, so they're going to be up on their game, and we have to be ready for that and have the mentality to match that.
Oh, a big here to that one, Ulster. A big here to that one. I think Mr. Morelos he's got to toe the line, shall we say? He's got to be taught how to toe the line, and watch out for the refs because, as Cushy Number said there, is it Cushy Number that said it in the? He said it in the lobby. The refs will get his card marked, so he's got to watch what he's doing. That doesn't stop him from being his exuberant self. He's got to go in there and be up and at them, And we just want to be scoring. Once again, a couple of goals and sort of brightens him up a wee bit, so he needs to do that.
Yeah, it's all about using the energy instead of being frustrated and showing it so openly. It's trying to battle that up and go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pop one in here against these because that'll really hurt them. It's trying to get that mentality into him. And I
remember McCoy's telling a story that he felt he was having a stinker against, it might have been Hearts, and it might actually have been against Levine. And he tried a step over, and Levine took the ball off him and came away with it, and we were struggling. It was at Ibrox, and Levine was giving him stick, and he says, I've seen that move on the telly. And about 10 minutes to go, the ball came across and it hit Ali and ended up in the back of the net, and Ali slid in front of him on his knees, and he said, you've seen this move on the telly as well.
Exactly. But that's
You've got to have that mentality to keep going. When you're a defender, Bridge, and you see his lip trembling, you're getting a boost, aren't you?
Absolutely. I think that McCoy scored some wonderful goals for us, but he must have been the most, shall we say, the most hated player so far as centre halves are concerned. Easily the most difficult person to play against. He's just always there. You turn round, you think he's at your side. You turn round and he's gone. And before you know it, the ball's in the middle and he's in a wee chance, Amazing stuff. Wonderful. He's in that sort of 6-yard box, in the penalty area. It was really, really good. His positional sense and everything was great. And people used to think he's done nothing, and all of a sudden he pops up. Wow. Certainly scored a lot of goals against them, that's for sure. Good goals. I really liked him. I have to say I'm sorry, I don't feel the same way about him now, truth be told. Sorry,
Life moves on, Bridge, yeah. Great player, also a good manager, and obviously history will still look at him as one of the greatest ever Rangers because this block will be gone. I mean, you can't take it away his goal scoring, but Morelos could learn for that mentality also.
100%. 100%. Yes. He'd learn because I think the way it is with the defenders is probably with Ali's era. You couldn't have said Ali's having a bad game because even if he was, the defenders would have always been on full alert because Ali McCoy is on the pitch. He can score a goal anywhere, whether it smacks off his arse or anything. That's just the way he was. I think with Morelos, I think just the defenders sometimes, if they can ride him up and stop us from scoring, then they've got a mentality of going, no, he doesn't fancy it today.
All right, gentlemen, we've reached that time of the evening. Bridgeman?
What can I say? Another wonderful night.
Did you have something to say before we finish? Or?
Well, I was just going to say that I didn't know whether you wanted to mention anything about
Nope.
Okay then. So
tomorrow
anyway,
night, mate, we'll get 2 hours to kill.
I'd just like to say what a fantastic interview. And thanks very much to yourself and everyone else that was involved in setting it up. And well done. Great stuff, Mark Walters. And to other Rangers fans all over the world, in particular Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, every single one of us, keep the heads up. Keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers are going to need us. Keep it going.
Can I thank Bridgeman Fox and Big Ulster for joining us here on Rangers Radio. A special shout out to the one and only Mark Walters who took the time to join us for the first hour of the show. We'll be back tomorrow night talking about the cluster that is Scottish football, and we'll hear from your manager Stephen Gerrard in the build up to Thursday night's game. Thanks for joining us here at Rangers Radio. See you tomorrow night between 9 and 11. Well, we'll hear from you tomorrow night between 9 and 11. Take it away, Fox.